Talking Tottenham, a fantasyfocus.com production.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 157 of Talking Tottenham. Bucky, joined as always by Daniel Shakes. You know what they said? It would be a long, hard-fought season. Well, we've officially lost. I don't think we can really achieve any of our main core goals. It was a tough loss against Leeds, 3-1, where Spurs were unequivocally outplayed from the get-go. Overall, when it comes to Spurs, I'm not feeling too hot. I will provide an update at the end of this episode regarding the bed saga of 2021. And I will also update on vaccination and how that feels. So we'll get into some fun stuff towards the end. I'm sure Shakes has a few different small little stories that he has about his time at the land of Disney this morning. I saw him on Aladdin killing the game. So, you know, he has a magic carpet that he can ride on a little bit. Most of us do not. We have pain, despair, heartbreak. Danny Shakes, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Bucks. A little exhausted after a time at one of the most magical places on earth, Disney World. Promised my little one we'd take him for his second birthday, and we executed, Bucks. So it all got started at, I think, 7 a.m. and got home about 7 p.m. So just a 12-hour shift.
Here's the key question I have for you, though. So Spurs played Saturday morning, 7 a.m. So you probably left for the land of Disney around probably 6 a.m., 72 hours later. Was there any rollover effect? Was there any sort of, you had to fight through and just fake it till you make it for the entire day? Or have you gotten over the fact that Spurs pretty much have dropped the ball on every front?
Enough time had passed for me. So I do appreciate doing these podcasts a little bit later with you. Usually we'd be pretty pissed off, I think, if we were recording 2 hours after, 8 hours after. Little story for that. On Saturday, we were visiting some friends. They lived an hour away. So I, too, was getting ready right as the game was kicking. And it's one of those things where you DVR it. You're listening to it on the radio on the car ride. By the way, Bucks, the Sky Sports radio, at least over here, I'm sure it's the same broadcast. I love it. I feel like I learned more about the game versus kind of watching it on the broadcast on NBC here in the States. So just a small little shout out that you get a little bit different feel, probably a little bit more analysis by the play-by-play, as opposed to obviously just kind of watching it and have it unfold and be told about the next NBC sitcom coming your way, down in the corner while the game's unfolding. So I actually don't mind listening to it on the radio at times. Other times, of course, you want to be glued in, not even deal with your family, shut everyone out to take in those games. But Leeds felt like a good radio first half game, and I knew I still had second half at my friend's house, when all the kids got together, and then the DVR, but it just all kind of blew up. It didn't sound good on the radio, just like it probably didn't look good on TV, Bucks.
So were you listening on Sirius on 150?
Yeah, so I listened, Sirius FC, and they'll get the Sky Sports broadcast. They'll get other broadcasts too, I think. Not really sure how they figure out their contracts, but it was a really good one today or this weekend.
Well, it still feels like today. Every day,
whatever. Past weekend, it's
My entire life as a Spurs supporter feels like Groundhog's Day.
Did you still feel though, even though Spurs go down 1, but then they equalize against the run of play, then score again and have that goal called back? It's even though Spurs were completely outplayed, did not deserve a point, I talk myself into some roundabout way where next the team's up 2-1, it goes into halftime, they're up, and then Leeds is pressing and they're weak in the back, and then Spurs counter. Next it's 3-1, and even though Spurs didn't look the best, they steal the 3-point. You could still rabbit hunt all the way through that route, and I'm sure other supporters think that way, but bottom line is just better team won.
All right, so I have two observations. Number one, when that was overturned for VAR, well, I guess it wasn't even overturned. They flagged it on the pitch, and then they went to VAR to check it, drew some big, bold lines after they were very small lines, and then all of a sudden Harry Kane was offsides. As soon as that goal was overturned, I knew we would give it up, the whole thing. That's been a repeating offense by this team. they continue to they start a good run of play, and then as soon as they hit adversity, it seems like everything falls apart. And I don't know where that really stems from. You can't blame 3 different managers, one of which who is 29 years old. You can't blame the different sets of players that we've seen let us down in these situations. I think we just need Linda on staff at Spurs. You got to get Linda to get these guys fighting a better fight out there when they face adversity. Alex, there you go.
Yeah.
Alex, I love it. You're on the same page. As soon as the goal was called back, you knew the season was over and we were losing. Jerry with a great comment here. In spite of it all, Bucks is out of the darkness. That is correct.
I like how Alex takes it to the level of forget the game. It's just as soon as it gets called back,
season's dead.
The season's dead.
It's like he knew that Chelsea was going to win.
Everything just got preordained the rest of the way.
Well, it was almost like one of those elaborate domino schemes. You know what's the movie? Golly, I'm going to hate that I can't think of it. It's like a English superhero who's obsessed with dominoes, and he calls a guy to come over in the middle of the night because he works for him just so he can push the dominoes and see what happened. That was the first domino to fall Saturday morning, 7:05. Second observation, the radio for football. I feel like American football works pretty well on radio. Baseball is awesome. Radio baseball, I probably prefer to watching it. Just because I grew up listening to games when you didn't have every single game on. My dad was a huge guy who would listen to every single game. And yeah, I love baseball, but it's easy to see what's going on visually in your brain.
Yeah, because it's a slow-ass game.
Yeah, it's slow. You have tons of time in between. But when it comes to football, soccer, damn, it's tough for me. I do it just because I only listen to 157. I listen to all of it. Like, it's just on. I have so many people that hop into my car and get pissed off. They're like, why do you just listen to this every time I'm in the car? And I'm like, yeah, it's the only thing I listen to. But I love it because of how excited they get with a goal. And you try to visualize it, but then it's never as good as when you see it. So you're right. There's a time and a place for a radio broadcast for soccer.
Another underrated one is PGA. Listen to PGA radio. It's fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of drama, like he pulls back the putter mallet, puts it through the ball. It's tracking. It's in the cup. Like you get like the play-by-play of the putt, not just the silence.
Jerry, the way to those
let's get into that. The VAR lines, real quick. Look, Spurs got outplayed. The VAR lines were bullshit. I don't understand. Like, it's almost like fans are smarter now. So I almost need like a scale key in the corner, Bucks. I need like when they do like the perpendicular line and it's on an angle because the camera's not dead on with the ball, right? So then next thing you know, it looks like it's like kind of slanted one way, and then they pull in another still, and that's from a different camera angle. So then they're trying to match these lines up, and you don't even know if they're supposed to be they're supposed to be parallel, but you don't know if they are. And then at that point, the width of the actual line, like if they overlap a touch, does that mean it's onside? Is it like if they did overlap, but like the offside part was just an inch, a centimeter over, whatever, then is it offside? I mean, I want like, in the States, we do have like the NFL rules guy or like the baseball rule, but those guys are kind of worthless, I think, in American sports. But maybe there'd be a helpful guy that they just bring in, and that guy just starts really talking like this is what they're focusing on. And it's not some bullshit like they're trying to see if the blue line's ahead of the red line. Like, I want like stuff to key. I want to know the scales, like, because I just don't understand how that was offside. And there are plenty of those types of plays like that as well. That don't just screw Spurs. I'm sure Leeds got screwed on one just earlier. I don't know.
Yeah, and that's possible. But when it goes to that VAR check, you would assume that it is completely non-biased. You can't talk about ebbs and flows of the game. It's all based on what happens in that play. I think my thing that I'm failing to understand with that particular play was, weren't they told to keep the flags down in those situations? Because I feel like that had an impact.
I agreed. I think if the flag's not raised, they then look at it and you have these lines overlapping. I think the goal stands and Spurs win, and we probably get top 4.
No, we're not getting top 4. We were never getting top 4.
Yeah, I got ahead of myself.
If you listened to us
that's
a
a
week
great
ago, we
point.
were convinced.
There's some moments where some guys are so blatantly offside and they hold the the flags down that it's just outrageous.
Yeah.
Then you have this one where it's like maybe aesthetically it like kind of looked immediately offside, but then like you stop it and go still by still, and you're like, oh shit, that was way closer than I thought. I'm not sure what was going on with that line judge, but he didn't get the memo about keeping the flags down.
I mean, the way
Here's the
he
thing.
was so quick, he
It's not
he was assured that he was offsides.
It's not
That's
a
gonna have
VAR
impact.
problem. It's an officiating problem. All VAR does is highlight the ineptitude of the officiating. That's all it does. You know, there are humans at the end of the robot still, Bucks. Not yet have the robots taken over. There's still some guy in Shrewsbury like looking at it.
But didn't a robot draw those lines? I know a human orchestrated pieces.
But a human's got to put the line somewhere. Sure, the robot drew the line, but the humans. And the other part of it too is it's like, will one ref be a little bit more generous when figuring out when your armpit kind of meets your shoulder? You know, maybe it's like a half centimeter, a little bit more forward, you know, kind of like just right off your shoulder blade. But then one guy will go closer to your neck and your collarbone. It's somehow managed to be so arbitrary, even though the whole idea of it was to, you know, create a solution to this clear and obvious mistake being made. It's just a mess. It's not going away. That's what sucks. It's just more training needs to happen. They need to be more forthright with like how this is all measured. And I think they need some common sense added rules, Bucks. Like what I was saying, like if it was just foot, you know, before the box, you know, the parallel line that is the box, like imaginary line, continue it from sideline to sideline. Just make it by the foot. Then any fan could like look at it and be like, okay, yeah, Kane was offside or onside right there. And then if we got to get into the stupid game of like, well, does his armpit, you know, start right here versus the kneecap of this defender? That's where it just turns into bullshit.
I mean, technically, you can score goals with those pieces of you, but every intent for most of these revolves around a guy having the ball at his feet. What do you think? He's going to flick it up to his armpit to get it in? He's going to pull a Llorente dick goal? I don't think so. I don't think that's the intent.
And the point that Alex Asher is making on our chat right now too, it's like a human has to be the person that freezes the still right as the ball's being kicked. So is it being kicked where the ball's still kind of like behind his foot, and then you know you can freeze it a half second more where it's still on his foot but coming off of it, or not even that, like a quarter of a second. So it just lends itself to being too arbitrary. Still,
it's a bit too arbitrary. But again, if that isn't called offside from the get-go, I'm with you. I think that thing stands, and that goes against. I hope that guy was spoken to very, very severely. Meaning, listen, you're going to sit in the corner and we're going to talk. We've told you all year, chap, keep your flag down. You've been trigger happy with the flag all year. Okay, we're at week 35. We thought you'd have figured it out by now. I don't want you to lose your job. I just want you to get better at it.
Do they release the ref stats? I assume they keep them internally, and that's how you know who gets the big games.
But there's no way to correlate stats to the fact that
I feel like you could, you know, this guy raised his flag inaccurately this percentage or this many times per year.
He was accurate there. That's the problem I have. And I think it kind of shifted it. I like how we were just hanging on to the one bit of hope that we had and talking about it for the last 7 minutes. Yeah. No, the rest of it is
endless
bad
content for us, I guess.
Yeah. The rest of it was really bad. It
somehow, even though it's like the same thing, it manages to piss you off almost kind of like in a newer way. You're like, well, that one seemed offside and this guy or onside, and this guy just raises his flag for no reason.
Yeah. You know, and I agree with our listener here, Alex. It's almost to the point where I don't celebrate goals when they happen.
Yeah.
And that's been a complaint since the jumping off point with VAR being introduced. I say VAR has a place, but they got to get better at it. I don't know how it happens. I still blame the robot for drawing that fat line. I don't think humans were, you know, breaking up that fat of a line there on the screen.
So thick.
Yeah.
So thick.
A thick girl line right there. And there's just no excuse for that. But even to that point, no excuses. God, we were terrible all game. A few good moments, few good glimpses, but What I want to focus on was midfield disaster. Just zero continuity. I don't understand what's happened with Tanguy. I feel like this was a Tanguy game over a Lo Celso game. I feel like Tanguy would have played pretty well deep. Delhi had moments, but he certainly wasn't up to the standard we all hold him to. And that's something that happens when you don't get enough reps. So I'm not by any means putting this on Delhi. He had some really good flashes in that game. But overall, I mean, it starts with the midfield for me in that match. What were your thoughts on performance of the midfield?
Wasn't great. I think we rested on laurels when Spurs took it to Sheffield. And you just got to remind yourself, Sheffield United, I think, took 17 points out of 35 matches, and they're at a negative 44 goal differential, Bucks. So
good shape.
Yeah, not they're already parachuting downward. So the issue that I take with it, Bucks, is it goes back to like Delhi. Winks didn't start this time or the last game. It still seemed out of nowhere when he started in the final of the Carabao Bang Energy. But look, I get getting Delhi reps and like trying to get the team energized by him coming back. But look, Mourinho didn't just phase him out for no reason. I mean, Delhi wasn't even like making substitution lists. So like, in order for him to just suddenly be starting and having like the free roll, I get it. He set up the goal. It was a very nice pass, and that's what you're gonna get from Delhi. The little trick, pass here, a little flick there. He's really good in the final third. But if Spurs are pressing for a goal in the final 30 minutes, that's when I'd rather see Delhi come on. I just don't know if suddenly he just earns this starting spot, and then to plug him in with Højbjerg and Lo Celso, where I think Lo Celso can be good as a holding midfielder, and he was against Sheffield, but he just was overmatched alongside Delhi and Højbjerg today. I don't know if it's just you got to go more 4-3-3 and you put it in Ndombele instead of Delhi. I don't know if you just pull Lo Celso and you're playing, you're just putting Lo Celso where Delhi is and then just putting Ndombele next to Højbjerg. There's just got to be some other different combo there. Do you worry that Ryan Mason is kind of being ordered to play Dyer and to play Delhi, and at times Winks?
Do I worry about it? Do I think it's realistic?
Yeah, forget worry. Just do you think that's happening? Because I'm starting to get conspiracy shakes here.
I think Daniel Levy plays a role in team selection as we currently stand.
Okay, so yes, you think that is happening then?
I think there's a small role that he's playing, and it's probably not, hey, Ryan, this is what I expect to see. It's probably more, this is what I'd like to see.
He doesn't have his own podcast where he gives his starting 11 and says, and that's what it's going to fucking be.
We got to stop making such declarative statements on this show.
Levy's pod, he's just dropping. No one's following it at all, but yet it's just got constant complete starting 11s to the T.
Yeah, we really got to tone it back a little bit on the declarative statements, especially you.
I'm just kidding.
You are an absolute nightmare at times on this show with your statements. Line them the fuck up.
But it seem a little weird. It's like you're watching Rodin play well. Like I said, I'm out on Dave, and I guess Tanganga's now just back gone, unless he's hurt. And I didn't know this. But suddenly it's just like Dyer and Delhi are just like back in our lives. And I get it. You want to shake things up. Jose wasn't really pulling the right strings anyway, but it just seems like a pretty ridiculous quick change. Now, Ndombele is the star signing, so I don't get Levy saying don't play him. So I guess that's the counter to it. But it's just weird to me that suddenly Delhi is this prominently involved. And I get it. He played okay again, but and he, he's only played like 5 or 6, English Premier League matches this year, Bucks.
Yeah.
We needed these 3 points. We need these 3 points. Why are we not putting out Ndombele and Lo Celso?
He might have been our most effective player, though. So you say that, and I understand why you say it. I understand the mentality of that. Bringing him in a little bit later, make the difference, score the goal that either, gets us to a draw or wins it for us. That all makes sense. But at the same time, the reason we were able to battle back, get that first tying goal, I mean, Delhi, that was a hell of a pass and a hell of a play by him. Good finish as well by Sonny.
Yeah. I mean, look, you're going to get that out of him, and that led to the equalizer, and that's the argument with why he's out there. It's just, if you watched that midfield, of Leeds United, who's, a good team but they're mid-table, and Spurs have far more talent out there. Reggie didn't have a good game as well as Serge, so they didn't really help out in the midfield in the way that they pushed up, but Spurs were just getting their ass kicked. Like Højbjerg and Lo Celso were kind of there on an island against I don't know if you want to call them a 4-1-4-1, but they basically had, what was it, Coke kind of sitting back, at times even be like a third center back, and they drop back all the other guys, and they're just like passing through our midfield. It was so easy. It was 2 passes, and next thing you know, they're coming down Spurs' throats in our own final third.
Well, I saw a breakdown of Leeds' third goal, which was that counterattack where they just took us to school. And that was a quick VAR check, but we don't need to talk more about VAR.
Yeah, that one
that was faster than lightning, Shakes.
I don't know. Toby was really trying to pinch up there, and it was just, he had zero chance getting to that ball. And then, 2 passes later, it's like 2-on-1.
So that goal was just a calamity of errors. So you had Serge pressing higher than hell against a 2-man backline at that point, pressing as high as you could possibly press. You also had Sonny in a similar position pressing. So you had Serge, Sonny. Where's your right side at that point? It's gone. You don't have it. Højbjerg was being asked to cover the entirety of the middle of the pitch right there. Of course, they found the space. Højbjerg has to track to that space, gets beat, and immediately has to hit the afterburners to try and get back and salvage. Why is that? Well, where was Son? Where was Serge as this was going on? They weren't there. There was nobody there on the left side or our right side, Leeds' left side. It was that shows what this team has struggled with all year. Organization. There is no organization. There is no discipline. There's no mentality of working together as one cohesive unit. For me, it's like you have to come to this point where you understand we are inherently flawed. I feel like a broken record talking about this every other week since, it's pretty much every other week. You get me last week, and I'm going to say, oh, we can finally start putting things together. We were playing Sheffield, and they're not a joke. They were a Premier League team, but they're not as good as Spurs. The players aren't as good. Their setup isn't as good. Their youth academy isn't it. Well, they're probably better than us. But regardless of that, we should go out there and beat them. We executed brilliantly in that match. The problem is the volatility, the disorganization, and just about every single time that you feel like you can start gaining traction, maybe gaining some momentum as a unit, there's another switch in the lineup. There's another little tweak that we have to make. And I understand you're never really going to have 11, 11, 11, the consistency across the board. But when you're going 7, 8, 6, you're not going to win many matches. And not just alternating the players, but changing the responsibilities and the tactics match over match. I want to see consistency, and I want us to control a game. We can do that against these teams that are very much struggling in the Prem, but Spurs cannot do it against teams that try to do it against us. That's the best way I can summarize it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, how does it change then? I think you got to get a different voice in there. That's not Jose and just, Ryan Mason just got thrown into this. He's 29 years old.
It's not Ryan Mason's fault.
Yeah, his day might come, but 15 years from now, right? Like this is so premature. It's such a cool story, but it kind of stops there. So
it does stop there.
It stops there like completely. It just has to be a new voice box. It's got to be a few different players. I mean, another problem with the final goal is the team, unless you were a substitute that came in, team was just gassed. I mean, because they were just getting their ass whipped in the middle of the pitch. You have the right and left back just probably tracking back constantly because Spurs are just getting knifed through the midfield and just they're streaking up the side against, against Reggie, against Serge, and then, against Toby and Dyer. So I just think also the way the team played and the disorganization involved in the midfield, getting their ass kicked in the middle there, it's just the team was worn out then trying to press forward to get the the equalizer, and just you're going to see someone try to make an attempt to press up, and they're nowhere close to it. Next thing you know, 2 passes later, it's a break the other way. I mean, to me, the second goal was far more alarming. That was just like bang, bang, bang play and just goal. As far as like working it all the way up the pitch, a few different guys touch the ball, then you get a cross in, and then just that's not marked well at all. So I thought that goal was a little bit more alarming as to like the ease that it felt like, to have that go down. I think it was it Bamford that scored that one, whereas Dallas scored the one before. Yeah,
Dallas scored the first one. Bamford with the second.
Yeah, it just boils down to the Click, Roberts, Koch, Harrison, Dallas were out wide, but those other 3 guys, they were just whipping GLC, Deli, and Højbjerg in the midfield.
It's interesting you bring up that those players you just mentioned.
Yeah, don't make me add up transfer value. Don't.
That's not what this is about.
Oh, okay.
This will be a mini rant. Spurs can't pass the ball. When you can't pass the ball, so I take that back. Spurs can pass the ball when teams are sitting back and we're just doing a little pity patty all over the place. We can't pass the ball when a team is trying to execute their game plan and take the game to Spurs. Look at the Brighton game, 3-0. I think Leeds is more talented than Brighton. Brighton beat us twice as bad as we got beat by Leeds on Saturday. But it was similar in the nature that they did it. They have a focused approach. Players always have 2 places they can go with the football. Every single time they get the ball. Spurs, how many times did we make a connecting pass from the midfield to the front line? It was few and far between. Why can't we pass the football? This is simple shit. This should be second nature for a team. And I can't even say our stature anymore. What is our stature? We got a great stadium, probably the best in the world. Great training ground, which they're adding on to. Glad that they cleared that news over the weekend. Something we all needed to hear. Investing in the future. We were all convinced 8 years ago the future was around the corner. Well, it seems like we've regressed. We look like Dogecoin. We peak, and then we valley, and then we plummet, and then we might just get enough for you to suck me back in, Spurs, which you do without a doubt every time. I'll never leave you, but damn it if I haven't thought about it, and then you pull me right back in. Sometimes I think I had an interesting conversation with one of my folks on my team at work, huge Spurs guy. And I just said, I think back to like 2011, back when it turned from, I casually supported Spurs to being like, I really love this team. And I think to myself, it could have been any other team, but it's Spurs. And I'm thankful that it is, because it's opened my world to all sorts of great people that I've met over the years and spoken with, and, brought us closer together as friends and as, podcasters. But it ain't easy. So everybody that's tuning in right now, understand, we get how hard this is. And I wish we had answers. I wish I had a crystal ball. I wish I could tell you that Spurs would get better. We're 4 players away. Do you realize how many players 4 players away is? It is so far away. You think you're going to hit on 4 out of 4 players? You think you're going to hit on a center back, a right back, a midfielder, an attacking mid, a striker? We're not going to hit on anything. The recruiting has been bad. Everything that we're seeing currently, to me, makes sense. I don't know how you feel about that.
No, I mean, we make fun, right? We make fun of the ownership group. We make fun of the managers, but we understand it's hard as shit, and this is a hard league. And Leeds is probably top 10. Like they'll finish probably between 11 and 9, maybe something like that.
Yeah,
and it's just hard as shit. So this isn't I'm not here to like cut slack, right, Bucks? Because we demand winners, and we're expecting to play in Champions League every year and all that stuff, which is I think the goals that ownership group and managers all have too. So we're all aligned there. But I mean, it's just when you have this carousel of coaches, when you have, like you said, you're bringing in 4 out of 11, so 36% of the team is being changed over. You still don't know a starting 11 into week 35, and it's just the league is just too hard to like just hope that it just gets cobbled together. You go down the road and come out with a victory.
That was well said for once, Shakes.
Thank you.
Very succinct, complete antithesis of what I bring to the table. Rambling nothing.
Usually I ramble a lot too.
Yeah. It's times like these we learn to live again.
Do you think
Foo Fighters? Dave
Oh,
Grohl.
by the way, are you Doge? Are you long Doge?
Oh, I'm long Doge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Trust me. I wish I would have taken it out at 75, but I'm long. I'm long.
Have you seen like now all these other just separate ICOs? He's like,
it's madness.
It's so dumb. And look, I'm all for people like making a buck, free market shakes. Here we are, but there's definitely gonna be a lot of bag holding bucks. Shakes isn't a fan of bag holding. Yeah. Like when you have these social media influencers telling you to buy Tits coin, and then they own Tits coin, and then they sell it from 0.0002 to 0.006, which is like a 300% gain.
It's huge.
Right? Like that's bullshit, man. Like I don't feel like that should happen.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I was
here we are.
I was a very early Doge guy, like super, super early. Can't stress that enough. So I stood to do pretty well, but we're still in that Hundy roll, baby. We're getting up to $1. We just got to wait a little bit longer.
Where do you stand on Ethereum?
Ethereum?
Yeah, and Bitcoin.
I have Bitcoin. I don't have Ethereum.
So like with Ethereum, it's all about the non-fungible tokens, right? Like, are you in the NFTs? Like I bought my first pack of Topps baseball cards. I'm waiting for the EPL. I'm waiting for the EPL NFTs to come out.
I still have
a
Harry
lot Kane.
More. I got to read a lot more about this. I don't understand it. And me being a fine collector of art, look at my walls.
Yeah, look. Yeah, true.
You don't
want to have a crypto wallet. You don't want to have a crypto.
I don't know about any of this, man. But I know about Doge, and Spurs are basically Dogecoin. We start from the bottom. Now we're here, and then we're here, and then we're here, and then we're back down, and then we're here.
I'm hoping Spurs are more like Ethereum or Bitcoin. Those are the two I'm rooting for. Who's the shadiest team? Because they'd be Monero.
That's way too much about
that's the privacy coin that like you just can't trace where the money went.
Yeah. Good God.
So whoever's doing that's probably is it Real that does all the, or is it PSG that had all the book issues, the Fair Play Act stuff?
Yeah, PSG.
Okay, maybe that's PSG. They're Monero. Speaking of PSG, not the are we talking about this game still? Like, I mean, do you even have man of the match? Like, we lost. We sucked.
Hugo.
Yeah, give it to Hugo for sure, right?
I'm just going to give it to Hugo.
I mean, I don't even know who else played well.
Kane.
Son scored.
The most embarrassing part about how we start and then how we end up inevitably going by the beginning of the second half, Kane always starts up top, and we try to force the subject, but nobody can get him the ball.
Right.
And nobody can lead a break. Nobody can start a break. Nobody can pass men into space. So in the second half, we start doing the thing with Harry where he's getting the ball just behind midfield. And it works. And we have these lively moments. Can we just start with Harry Kane playing that dual role? I understand you're asking a lot of him, like from his endurance and everything like that. But if there's one player that can change a game the minute the ball finds his feet, he's just so tactful and full of skill, vision. He's unbelievable.
It's like Kevin Durant or LeBron James, just like, we're going to make you point guard now. We just need to get the ball to you as soon as possible. You're just going to walk it up.
Yeah, walk it up, Kane. He kind of does, though.
Just walk up the ball, Kane.
He kind of does.
His vision is so great.
It's fantastic.
By the way, Bucks, this constantly changes for me. But now I think for Euros, I think England should start Foden next to Rashford and Kane. That's my current, like, who's that missing piece? Like I just keep trying to justify pulling Sterling because I don't care for him. I mean, so it's Kane and Rashford. If you're gonna play a 4-3-3, who's the third guy? Right now, I'm leaning Foden.
I think Foden's up there.
Check in with me each week, and I'll tell you if it changes.
I think Foden should start for him. He's just been so phenomenal.
He's outrageous in Champions League right now. We got to do a little Chelsea, Man City later, maybe with Everton Jordan. I just can't believe Chelsea. Here they are.
Yeah. Well,
Go
they're
from
doing their thing.
Mid-table, fire their coach,
Him
fire
and
their
Kane
Ryan Mason.
with the 3 hourglass. Scott MB here with a comment. What do you make of Tanguy's latest Instagram post? Him and Kane with a 3 hourglass? I don't know. I haven't seen that. But that doesn't sound good.
What do we mean by there are hourglass, but 3 emojis of hourglasses?
All right, let me pull it up.
This is the great podcasting content people get.
This is once a week.
Us surfing Instagram.
You get this once a week, Tanguy.
Well, the other thing I was looking at, Bucks, when I said PSG is I do wonder if you're going to see a Deli loan. I wonder if you're going to see a loan of Winks. I wonder if you're going to I just wonder if there's going to be big time loans because Levy doesn't want to sell half these guys.
You have to sell them.
Just down market because of COVID, down market on the players themselves because they just either haven't gotten the PT or played well. It might just be the season of loans for Spurs. Or I should say the off season when it comes to this summer. You're still going to see the Lamellas get transferred out probably, or Davinson Sanchez, but I don't know. I just think there could be a bunch of loans on the team right now.
All right, so I'm looking at this Instagram post. I'll put it up for visualization here. It's Tanguy with his head down, Kane looking pretty pissed, and 3 hourglasses. Is that just them counting down the last 3 games? That is cryptic, Scott.
I would say 3 games to go. Then it's their time to leave. Is that what that means?
I don't know.
What's up with that Kane rumor that he doesn't really want to stay in EPL? He'll go to Germany or Spain. Is that all substantiated through an agent, or is he just because he's I could never play against Spurs?
No, I don't think it is. He doesn't listen. He loves Spurs. That's not his concern. At this point in his career, he knows he's got 3 to 4 top years left, probably 3, and he's got to make the most of that. I thought, and you thought that being the all-time Premier League goal scorer would probably be the main goal there in terms of his English roots and his family being there. But I'm not in his head. I can't text Harry Kane. If you're listening out there, Harry, give me a shout. We'll chat.
Where would you be more shocked if he ended up in, I guess, if you ranked the 3 big leagues outside of EPL, I think I'd be most shocked if he went to Italy. But then between Germany, France, and Spain, I think I'd be most shocked if he went to Spain.
I'd say Germany over Spain, yeah. I'd say Germany is probably a better landing
I probably actually would have said France as the most shocked if it just flat out wasn't for Poch at PSG. Well, and then possibly losing Mbappe. So, I guess that would be the one thing there. But I don't know, man. I just can't see him going anywhere else outside the EPL. They all seem shocking.
All right, so Ben Jones here with a comment. Say it quietly, but Poch is looking very insecure at PSG. Can we please get him back home to finish what he started? Listen, Ben, I'm going to say a couple of things. I want to start by saying that I would not be upset if we brought Poch back. Okay? We all love Poch. We love what he built. But further to that, I don't want him back. I think he was exhausted when he left. I think he was frustrated with management. I think he was frustrated with Levy. I think he was frustrated with a lot of what went on. And I also think he was frustrated at being a guy that got the most out of his players, but when he would even do that, he wouldn't ever get the war chest packed. He never had enough to bring in the players. We went 2 straight transfer windows, or 3 straight, right? 3 straight without a player. It was at least 2. We've come so far since then, Shakes. But you can't do that to a manager. You can't do it. For me, if Poch does come back, like I said, I'd be ecstatic about it. But I also think we need to turn a new leaf and start a new project that includes a complete reset. Said it last week or 2 weeks ago. I feel like it's going to be a big time growing pain type of thing where none of us are going to be happy, but change will come. And I think change is something that takes a bit of time to really start building something that can get to the next level beyond where Poch took us. You know, he wouldn't have a 22-year-old Kane scoring 20 plus goals a year right out of the gates, right? He wouldn't have that. What he would have is Kane at 28 and Kane battling ankle injuries, Dele, who is not the actual bona fide stud that he was, and maybe he still has it. I hope he does. Love Dele. But then a bunch of just mixed bag everywhere else. A goalkeeper who's aging, playing some of the best football of his life. Yeah. The squad Poch had versus what he would inherit, so poor. I'd rather start over, hit the reset button. But trust me, if Poch comes back, it's going to be a celebratory day. I'll have to reverse out the pouring the beer out for Poch. I got to figure out how to do that, with the audio.
So I think they're 3 points behind Lille in the league on standings.
That's crazy.
They did beat Barcelona and Bayern like back to back though before they bowed out to Man City, who will be the favorites in the championship. So his Champions League results weren't terrible. By the way, Bucks, you see that ice storm of a game against Man City? It was wild. Wild. Only Manchester. Just slowly turns into a hockey rink.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's hot seat yet anyway. But look, one day we'll get like a tell-all Jose Mourinho book, and who fucking knows how accurate that will be and how truthful that will be. But like, Lord knows, him and Levy did not get along by the end of it. It sounds like, even though I want to give him slack, Levy, I really do, because like it's tough to run this type of club. But it doesn't sound like right now he's really gotten along with the last couple managers. So I know him and Poch have only said the right things like in the media and all that stuff, but who knows? Like they might be in like a, hey, we're friendly terms, but we're not ready to work together again terms, right? Two different things.
I also think in terms of Daniel Levy and his pride, you bring Poch back in after 18 months.
Yeah, no, that's just not happening either. It just won't happen. It's not there yet. Maybe 5 years, 10 years later, Bucks, if Poch even still wants to be a manager that long, but it's not anytime soon.
I would love to be a fly on the wall for some Daniel Levy.
Did Roma hiring Jose help Spurs on the contract end? Is it like now Spurs didn't have to hit certain pay targets or whatever it was? Okay.
Yeah, it actually pretty substantial from what I understand.
Okay, I thought I read that like just as like a tweet or an Insta, but I didn't verify it. So that's what you get here on the live show. Me asking you a question about something I read that I wasn't sure was accurate.
Yeah, no, it was accurate. I don't know exactly what the price cuts were on that, but we definitely made out a little bit better.
Thanks, Roma. Roma, we owe you.
Can't believe Jose that quick. I mean, I shouldn't say that.
No,
I can definitely believe it.
He's the name.
Well, I mean, the road home doesn't look very fun for Spurs. I hope that we finish ahead of Arsenal. That's really my main focus moving forward. I don't know enough about the Continental League or whatever. What are they calling it? The Continental League?
Like the Europa Conference League?
Yeah. Oh, the Europa Conference League. Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah. We'll do a bunch of research on that at the end.
There will be some games in some countries you and I have never heard of.
Okay.
You thought, serves us right. We made fun of Europa qualifying, and then we get dished this shit sandwich.
Do you think Marine's going to make it to the Conference League or what?
I don't know. Hopefully
let
Marine
us play
gets
Marine for the last 3 games.
We'll do a home and home with Marine.
I'd be cool with that.
I mean, Spurs can still, if they... No, I'm not going to go do this. I'll just say Europa might be a chance. Who knows? Because Spurs got Wolves on deck. Villa after that. Villa's not playing for anything. Wolves aren't playing for anything. They're like in that safe zone / we're not going to get up to even make the Europa Conference Contrarian League. But will they even play? They play like Thursdays. They play like Tuesday morning.
I don't know.
They play.
I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy, and I'm exhausted with this club.
This is just one of those, like last year, obviously the longest season and throwing a pandemic. But Spurs finished like on the front foot, right? Qualified for Europa. This
started January of 2019. Like this,
you're looping this all together.
The downward trajectory. So we start the podcast February of 2019, right at the start of the downturn in the Prem, which was also coinciding with the upswing for the Champions League. So we had this weird dichotomy where it was similar to last week's Sheffield podcast, this week Leeds. It was just back and forth, up and down. Shakes, at no point, I repeat, at no point have Spurs like strung together 7 or 8 straight weeks of playing well. I'm not talking about wins, losses. I'm talking about playing consistently and having a mentality that goes out there to crush their opponent. Instead, it's this grab bag every single week. And I have to admit, folks, I still love doing this show. I will do this show with Shakes till we're old and gray. We're going to look like a bunch of curmudgeons. If you think we're bad now, just wait for like, I don't know.
Wait for like 5 years for all my bad habits.
Yeah, wait for
to
2026.
finally manifest themselves. Yeah.
Wait for 2026 because that's going to be something. But I'll keep doing it. This has been exhausting. It's just been this yo-yo. And it makes for good radio at times. And at times we have more energy than others. But just not being able to live up to the expectations at all, especially after being first for 6 weeks. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's a tough run in.
I like how even though you said like we haven't strung together 7 good weeks, it's like us talking about qualifying for Champions League, and we're like, all right, all we got to do is take 16 of the next 18 points, and we got this. Like Spurs haven't won like 3 in a row, and who knows how many months. Yeah, here we are, just try to predict like a 4 wins in a row with a draw. Yeah, okay.
I'm just gonna.
We're lifers. We're diehards.
We don't need to talk about what's going to happen with the team until after we get through the season. I think talking about the games we have coming up. So this weekend we have Wolves. Wolves have been struggling. They had a win against Brighton last second. Last weekend, what's your Wolves 11 looking like here, Danny?
For the Wolves? Oh, Neves. It's gonna probably Moutinho are gonna beat the shit out of us in midfield.
No. Moutinho is not beating the shit out of anybody. If he does, oh boy, we're in trouble.
We've talked about this. I'd take Ruben Neves, right?
He's kind of dropped off.
He was probably like more of a green arrow upward last year when he was like just posterizing free kicks and shit.
I know that they always play Adama on the right hand side. If I were them, I'd put him right at Surge.
Put him at Surge.
Put him right at Surge. Let him go to town.
Well, we'll see that early if
all right, so
change.
R11. What I'd like to see is Roden, Toby. I'd like to see Tanganga, Reggie, who didn't play a great game this past game at all.
Reggie in this slump has really hurt the team.
Yeah, we have to play Højbjerg. We have to play Højbjerg. We have no choice.
Yep, he's there forever.
Yep, he's there. And I would like to see Ndombele back there with him. I'd like to see Dele play again. I want to see Son on the left. I actually want to see Lucas on the right. And then I want Kane. That's my 11.
So I want Steve where you have Lucas.
Okay.
So let's just give Bale a rest. He's just been ineffective.
Maybe
the last
Lucas
3-4 matches.
instead of Dele and then Steve on the right.
Well, I was going to say I want Lo Celso in the middle and I want Ndombele with Højbjerg. So I want to bring back the Højbjerg, Lo Celso, and Ndombele experience under Ryan Mason. If you can start Tanganga on the right side, great. Let's do that over Surge. Bucks, that's another one. Just he needs to be loaned out. If we're just not going to play him or even put him on the substitution list, just loan him out. Give him some game time. Like I don't care if he goes down to, get like the skip experience over in Norwich. If you can find that, awesome. Like loan the Fulham on the way down, or whoever, Sheffield. But I just feel like it's bullshit that he's just like wasting, valuable training and playing time being on the first team, not even getting close to a look. I'm also for playing Roden, though. So you and I are pretty aligned on the lineup. It's just I think I want to keep Lo Celso in there, drop Deli, drop Bale. So bring in Steve, bring in Ndombele.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean,
I've got Ndombele starting, but I want Ndombele back further.
I'm not against like Lo Celso coming off the bench for like energy in the midfield.
I prefer that.
Shit, that's what happened at the beginning of the year. Are you kind of excited about like really what we need to do is start looking forward to things next year? Like, is the Højbjerg Skip combo and a 4-2-3-1 like just going to be what it is? Like, is Skip just going to plug in and just be better than Winks?
What do you
different
why are you
type
bringing
of player?
Winks in? I think it should be Højbjerg and Ndombele.
I just think Skip is like the quintessential like 4-2-3-1 holding midfield guy.
Yeah, but I think he is the holding piece of that. So kind of a backup for Højbjerg.
So he comes back, doesn't really like. Yeah, I mean, he'll get maybe a few spot starts here and there.
So what I feel like we lack most often is the ability to connect from Højbjerg to a secondary center mid and then get it through the center of the pitch or send it out through the wings. And Ndombele can do that. And Ndombele is creative enough to do it. It's just he's been dribbling so goddamn much. He's like out there looking like Muggsy Bogues, just dribbling everywhere. I miss Muggsy Bogues, by the record. I believe he passed away.
I did not know that.
I got to look it up now.
You look that up. He was great in Space Jam. When's like the new Space Jam coming out? Like ever?
I don't care.
Yeah.
I think you just leave a classic the way it was.
Yeah. I'm not a LeBron fan anyway. I'm from Detroit. So
if Wayne Newman is in it, Wayne Newman needs to be in it. If he's still alive.
Is Bill Murray in it?
Bill Murray's going to come out of nowhere.
He'll just show up, make a cameo.
Oh, Muggsy Bogues still alive. Thank God. Thank God.
Right.
What about Wayne Newman?
You and your internet rumors.
Wayne Newman.
Maybe Winks being loaned out to like a Spanish club. Because he's just another player Spurs don't want to part with because he's an English national, but he just doesn't play. And when he did play, it wasn't that effective.
Let's not talk about that. What we're doing is we're talking about this game coming up against Wolves.
What about the league third kit, Bucks?
Good. I'm glad you brought this up.
Yes. I didn't mean to cut you off and just segue right into it, but if I didn't say it, then I would have forgot.
Okay. Third kit for next season. I didn't do enough acid prior to seeing that.
Caught you on a acidless Wednesday.
Not just on the day, but in my life. Done zero acid. I feel like I could have used a dose or two to get to a point where I could understand and interpret what that is. It's something. I mean, we all had a weird reaction to that beautiful 2019 third kit. The green with kind of like the map of North London that was kind of like superimposed on there.
Mm-hmm.
It was just kind of like mangled colors a little bit. I don't like that it's like very geometric with the shapes and the angles of it. And it's not like an easy fade into the fuchsia, purple, green, whatever the hell they were doing. I don't know if it's yellow. It's a lot, but let me tell you something. I love it. I just didn't understand it at first. So I did some acid and then I looked at it and I thought it was good.
And then you got to buy like a homegrown player, right? That's why it's like you got to get like a Skip like third 2021 kit.
Listen,
like
man,
it's got to be like that. You know what I mean? Like it's got to be like one of the maybe Winks if he gets back into the manager's good graces and actually plays. But you want to get someone like that.
I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah, and for the record, I've never done acid.
Is there a play? I'm sure you didn't. Yeah, I'm sure you haven't.
I have not.
Okay, I'm sure you haven't.
There's sarcasm in that voice.
For sure.
Look at my hair.
Do you know if like they post like the finalists to like the third or second kit? Like I would love to know like whatever that pitch meeting was.
No, you never see proposed. You never see.
Oh man, I would pay for that. And I would love to know like the final 3 kits for all 3.
I will say those home kits for 2 years from now are fantastic. Next year's are great too, just the all whites, but the ones with the nice sleeves, kind of with that neon jet line, I like that a lot. I like anything with neon, which tells me I will love the second kit next year, which is black with like neon green.
If you're a player, do you wear like a neon green cleat? Pop it with the
none of these players give a shit about matching. Kane wears red boots.
You don't think LaMelo worries about fashion? He might not be on the squad though.
I have no clue. Let's not talk about who's on the squad and who's not. Bottom line, I like the new kit. It took me a little bit. Took a lot of head readjusting to get there.
There's a lot going on in that kit.
Yeah, a lot going on. As for this Wolves game, Shakes, what is your score prediction?
I'm going 1-1.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I think Spurs, similar to the Jose era, can't keep Wolves back. Maybe they have a little fight to start this first half, get ahead 1-0 on a Kane goal. Then it's similar to the previous game against Wolves, where I think they scored in the 86th minute or something like that. Maybe it won't be that deep into the game, but Wolves will equalize in the second half and then 1-1.
I got 2-1 Spurs. I still believe out there, folks.
Of course you do.
I still believe.
Just win our just take the next 9 points, Bucks, and I think we're in Europa.
I'm going to go Lucas with a goal and Kane with a goal.
Lucas has scored against Wolves a few times, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe the kit is undetectable by VAR. Thank you, Jerry. Jerry's been amazing today, by the way. Jerry with another one. On another note, every time I see a can of Bang Energy, I get triggered. Yep.
Between the Bang Energy, there were some memories, Bucks, of this season. The Bang Energy quest, I don't know, what do you call it, to get to the finals? Which, looking back at it, really, Spurs beat Chelsea, and that was about it. and that took
Brentford,
PKs.
Man, Brentford was tough.
Brentford was tough. But then the Europa qualifying. So really, we'll have those couple first months to look back on. Okay. That now feel 3 years ago.
Well, Shakes has it a 1-1 draw. I can't blame him. In my heart of hearts, I can't see us losing the game. We have to finish on top of Arsenal. And look, any European play next season is better than no European play, but maybe not. Like maybe we need a little break.
No, I'd be fine with the third tier, whatever it's called,
the Continental Tires Bowl.
The Continental Europa Continental Tires tournament,
Conference League Continental Tires Bowl.
It's like some obscure like German tire company. I think it's the sponsor, Bucks. I don't think it's Continental.
It's Toyo Tires.
Toyo.
Yeah, with a TYRE.
I might have a Toyo.
It is Toyo. Toyo is legit.
Dude, my wife got 2 flat. Did I tell you the story?
No.
She's like, I don't know what happened. She's like, rolls up and just has 2 flats on the right side. And I'm like, what happened? And she's like, well, I hit that curb. I'm like, the same curb that you drive by like every day to get home. Like, she's like, yeah, I was just like, I'm like, so were you texting? Like, no, I wasn't. Okay. Well, just what happened? You just smashed that thing. You must have rode right up on it. Comes in. Now I got 2 Toyo tires.
Was there like a storm drain by the curb where she hit it?
What happens is
that'll mess you up pretty bad.
The curb does jut in a little bit. So if she was just daydreaming, maybe she just didn't react to, the turn of the road and just drove right off road. I don't know, but
she must have been thinking about how great her husband was.
Definitely. Or just what she was going to grill me on next. Just kidding.
I mean, it is really just a ipso facto type deal, huh? You never really know which side of the coin you're going to be on.
Never do.
And that's living. That's living.
Live my life in a lot of fear, Bucks.
Well, that stinks that you got two flats on the same side.
Yeah.
Pretty rough. Update on the bed situation. Immediately went over to Ashley Home Store and demanded to speak with the gentleman who sold me on the normal profile. And I got a free exchange of the normal profile and the low profile. So now I'm cruising at a good height for the bed.
Was the gentleman that sold you this originally like 7 foot tall? So he just thought that was normal?
To be honest with you, it seemed like it was a bit discombobulated in terms of the sales rep that sold me the bed and the sales rep that sold me the foundation. But we do have low profile now. I can tell you I can no longer write 11s on my ceiling. So things are looking up. Things are looking up for me. However, did not have a chance to, make sure that everything was hunky dory. All right. Everything, I got the vaccine, the second shot, Moderna, on Friday. And let me tell you something, folks. I've heard, like, my parents, who are both in their mid 70s, neither of them had any problems with their second Pfizer shot. Like,
Mine too.
neither of them had any problems at all. They were totally fine. I have to tell you, I got the shot around like 9:30 a.m. By 3:30 p.m., I'm sitting there on a conference call on Friday, and I just zoned out. Like, all of a sudden, it was like every bit of energy got sucked from my body, and I could no longer operate, let alone speak a full sentence that others could understand. So once somebody has a question for me, I'm not kidding you, Shakes. I couldn't even get words out. I just kept saying, yeah, well, so, and all of a sudden, my boss's boss is like, "Hey, Matt, what's going on here, bud?" I'm like, I don't know. I just had a second vaccine of the Moderna. And then things went from there to the point where I just was stuck to my couch for about 36 hours. I didn't leave the couch for 36 hours. I couldn't even test the low profile.
Have you
It's
been
not
in it
fun.
yet? You've just been sleeping on your couch? Just
Well,
in a sick ball? What was your temperature?
at times. Temperature never spiked.
Never spiked.
Just
That's one I've been
completely
hearing.
drained. So Friday, completely drained. Wake up Saturday. It was like Roy Jones Jr. was just knocking me out every bit of my body the day before. Everything hurt. But I'm not kidding. I mean, by 8 o'clock Saturday night, I felt great. And
Went to the bar?
no
No?
bars.
You can go to the
No.
patio?
I didn't go to the patio. We will be going to the patio this weekend when Everton Jordan is coming in town.
Our boy.
Yeah, we're going to the Tampa Bay Rowdies game. So a couple of life events there. He's vaccinated. I'm vaccinated. And we're going to go have a good vaccinated overnight drunk
Nice.
watching the
Just let
Rowdies.
loose, bud. I had
Yeah.
a conference in Miami last week. Vaccinations must have hit South Beach months ago, apparently, because there's just no sign of the virus over there. Let me just tell you.
Yeah, you sent a few videos from dinner. Good God.
Yeah, well, rage
I think
fest.
that was your speed, though. The whole thing was your speed.
You liked it? You think I'm like a Miami club guy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure you were the belle of the ball, Shakes.
I'm sure I was too. I'm sure I wasn't hopping in that early Uber home.
All right,
Bet
folks.
that didn't happen.
Well, we got the bed situation handled.
I'm sure she's excited about that.
Yeah, everybody is. No more step stool.
Your fan's excited about it. Yeah.
Fan is mostly excited about it.
Got rid of the Elite Skyscraper 4000 bed foundation. Sales guy is just like, I cannot believe I just sold that to this kid.
The escalator 8K.
Yeah. yeah, it'll fit.
The blow.
Oh, you meant height wise would it fit? I thought you meant like just
no
length and
more
width.
No more blow my ceiling off 8,000.
Can't write the 11s on the ceiling anymore though.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Yeah.
I might just have to get a whiteboard for bed that I can hold in front of me.
Need like magnets, move them around. Laser pointer.
I might need to.
Something.
All right, folks. Well, Shakes with a draw, 1-1. I got him 2-1 over Wolves. It'll be an interesting Sunday, 9 o'clock on Peacock. Whereas Jerry says I'll just leave it with Jerry on the mic drop. Peacock will feature the oiled guns of Traore in high definition. That's the thing I don't get. Why does he oil his guns before he gets onto the pitch?
Traore's what though, like 5'5"?
He's not tall, but he looked
He'd never
great
get in your
coming
bed.
off the bench.
He'd never get in your bed.
All right, we're ending it there, folks. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Just have a great week and try to enjoy this game against Wolves. The last game against Wolves, we go up 1-0 within 90 seconds. They score a goal to tie it up 1-1 in the last 90 seconds. It's all over. It should be a riveting game of football, let me tell you something. But if we win the last three, we will finish on top of Arsenal. And really at this point, that's the only thing we can cling on to. Danny Shakes, thank you so much. Sign the people off.
Let's go. Let's beat Wolves. And come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Spurs.
Ooh, we got the double toss there. I like that. Coys, get it done. Beat Wolves.